We are live. Let me double check and make sure everything went right because somebody said something. All right. Yes, we are live. Cool. We did it right. Guys, yes. Woot. Welcome to the very first episode of Literary Soul Sisters. And I didn't mess up that all of that good stuff. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. We're off to a good start, guys, except for I forgot my smoking pipe. Yes.
That's your fidget.
Yes, to be legit, we must have the smoking pipe. Anyway, that'll come back up later. What is up, chat? Welcome, Jeremy Swiggs, Road, Kaylee, Lady Marine, all of the people in the chat. Woo! Yes, everyone's all super hyped. Are you able to see the chat on your screen? Just one.
Yes.
You are. Cool. LOL, nice people. Yes, Road. I think we're nice people. I think you're a nice person. So I mean, there are nice people on here. Oh gosh. Let's see. Let me see. I can highlight. Yes. Highlight the things. Sweet. What's happening? This is for you, I assume.
Yes, I'm
Red Marine. Yes. Troubled Green. Oh, there you are. I was like, wait a second. Hail to you all. What's up? Oh my gosh. And then let's hide that. Sweet. So yes, welcome to the first episode of Literary Soul Sisters, where we will be discussing all things literature and, of course, specifically today, Tolkien, because that's what's hot. The hot topic.
It's on everyone's lips.
Yes. As you can see, I've got the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, and like behind my little Grogu and little minion stuff, I've got my little copy. But yes, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into like introductions. Like, I'll let you go first since you're since I don't know, your name starts with an A, so we'll okay. Let you go first. Introduce yourself to people who may not know who you are.
So hi everyone. Yes, I'm a troubled green, but my name is Alasia. Rhymes with Malaysia. That's always what I tell people in order for them to remember it. You just drop the M. But most, like, when I was telling Mando that when I go into other people's chats and they don't have a clue how to say my name, they just call me Green. So I'm like now responding to that. They're like, "Hey, Green." So yeah. So hi. Thank you for having me on, Mando. This is going to be super, super exciting. And we were talking about we wanted to talk about like kind of like why Tolkien like is important to us. Is that I'm like blanking, so now like the streamer like anxiety is hitting, and I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be talking
about? So for this episode, we are kind of talking about kind of our backgrounds, like just in general, kind of give people an idea of who we are in general. That will flow into our background as far as Tolkien goes. Like, how did we come to find Tolkien? What is the path that led us to this point? And then for later on, we will be discussing why Tolkien is relevant and why his legacy should be preserved. And I promise, guys, it's a great start, guys. Fantastic. It's not like I've never done a stream before, but yeah, Rode says we're doing fine.
All right, thank you, Rode. So my background. So I'm an academic. I am a specialist in Northern Irish history. I do the very early start of the civil rights movement in Northern Ireland, and I focus specifically on Derry. And literally, I am a scholar because of Tolkien. When I was young, and I have this like I've talked about this on my Instagram. So if people know the story, I apologize, but this is kind of like what led me to Tolkien. I'm horribly dyslexic, and I could not read at all by like the third grade. I was like medieval illiterate. And my mom pulled me out. She homeschooled me, taught me how to read. Fast forward to high school, movies came out, and I fell in love with Tolkien, and it was off to the races. I fell in love with reading. So Tolkien like helped me become a reader. And there's more to the story, but he means a whole lot to me because I wanted to be a Tolkienist. That didn't work out, and I became a historian instead. So yeah, Tolkien means a lot to me.
Yes. So I guess my background, I'm gonna divulge some information that some of you who've known me for a while might not actually know. I actually have a degree in Christian leadership with a minor in biblical studies and an emphasis in Christian counseling. So like my background has been very much kind of convoluted in a way. Like I don't know how I got here. I was thinking about that today. I was like, how did it get here?
Right.
I guess like for Tolkien specifically, because of my more religious background, and more Christian roots, like I came here from C.S. Lewis. Like C.S. Lewis is kind of like when it comes to C.S. Lewis, like I've read almost all of his books. I want to read all of the books. I've read Mere Christianity at least 15 times.
Nice.
And so like that's just like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were like best buds. And so the simple fact that like, that's how I found Tolkien was through C.S. Lewis, and
Yep.
like, just how much they cared about each other in a no homo kind of way. And just, that's just kind of how I got to where I did with Tolkien. Like I've always been a lover of Tolkien's books, not as much as I loved the Chronicles of Narnia, but I still love them. And yeah, I thought about when I was younger, like there was like this phase where I was thinking about doing like some sort of literature and English arts degree or something along those lines. But unfortunately, I let someone in my life, one of my teachers when I was younger, deter me from that. So that's where I just I got here somehow, some way.
Well, you're meant to be here. Like I said last night, everything happens for a reason.
But yeah, like even like Rhodes' super shocked face. Yes, I have a Christian leadership degree. I thought about doing a double bachelor's, but I don't like school. I love learning and I love education, but the educational system sucks.
Yeah. You heard me last night ranting.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I thought I was going to go a little bit more into like a religious field, like maybe some sort of ministerial position, but we all know how a lot of churches feel about laity ministers. So that was and so yeah, it's convoluted.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trying to I expected that to go a lot longer than it did.
Same, I know.
Well, now we know.
Right.
Trying to think. I guess like I guess we can kind of do some like since like we are specifically going to be talking about Tolkien, but I guess I can kind of go into like where I came from as far as like the C.S. Lewis route, because I know quite a lot of people actually like there are people out there who had no idea that C.S. Lewis and Tolkien even knew each other, that they existed. And there are a lot of so it's Buggy.
Yeah,
Buggy.
She's one of Lady Marine's little sisters. She just goes around adopting introverts, and she's like, "Yeah, you're mine."
All right. So okay. So if the stream is buggy, I do apologize. I didn't let me know in the comments. Let me do a couple of things here and there. I'll have to bring that up later. Oops. No, do not exit that tab.
Yeah, please don't.
That is
only me.
That is an important tab. We're not gonna do that. Okay. Hopefully that's what you call your little sister. Okay. I was like, it's laggy, buggy. Okay. Your bus.
That's
okay.
what she calls all of us.
Okay. So the thing I exited out of, I showed you earlier. We'll bring that up and we'll talk about that later.
So many things to say.
It's gonna be great. So yeah, my background with C.S. Lewis, it's kind of one of those welcome in. Because like I said, I came from more of a religious education, education background. Like I was familiar with a lot of C.S. Lewis's big works, like Mere Christianity, like A Grief Observed.
Have you read the Screw Tape Letters? I've tried
the Screw Tape Letters. They are
a lot.
They are a lot. They're very insightful. I recommend them. Even if you are not a Christian, I recommend reading them. They're so good. And like C.S. Lewis was known as the 20th century, like the kind of the father of modern day Christian apologetics, which the word apologetics comes from apologia, which means to make a defense for those of you who don't know. I know a smidge of Greek. If you try and get me to like say anything in Greek, I I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm on the spot. But yes, I do know a little bit of ancient Greek.
Nice.
There, Amanda. Thank you, me too. So I got distracted. Dang it.
Yeah, the chat's evil. You guys. Oh, by the way, you guys are evil with that silky talk last night. I went back and reread the chat. You guys are evil. I'm just gonna say that now. You guys are evil.
I agree with Tugs, but I told her I thought purple would be better.
I saw that. I was like, what?
No one responded. No one responded to the comment. I'm just like, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good comment. Oh God. Yes, I do know a little bit of Greek. I can read a little bit of Greek. I even have a Greek Bible over there that shouldn't be thrown over there, but yes, it makes me look intelligent when people come over and I'm like, yes, I have a Greek Bible. Yes. That I haven't touched in like a month.
That's how I am with Irish. I haven't touched my Irish in like 5 years, so don't ask me.
Oh gosh. So yeah, like that was also one of the things like I thought about going into was the field of Christian apologists. Unfortunately, a notable figure by the name of Ravi kind of dashed some of those hopes for me recently. I don't know if you're familiar with the debacle that's kind of going on there. There's some stuff that came out about him after he passed away. So yeah,
no, I'll look into that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But like it was C.S. Lewis who kind of inspired a lot of modern day Christian apologetics studies, and just the defending of Christianity and stuff. And I was looking into that field, and that's actually where I found Chronicles of Narnia.
That's awesome.
I had no idea. I'm like, what is this? Like, there's all these like very like literature heavy, like just very knowledge educational, and then I'm like,
what's this?
What? And I knew that the movie about Chronicles of Narnia, like that was already a thing. Like I remember like seeing like stuff about it a long time ago, and I'm like, that's cool. And it never dawned on me that the two people did this.
So funny. Oh, that's funny.
I was just like, I'm like, what is this? Oh, this is good. Like the same person wrote these two things.
Right.
Wow.
I know.
And just to kind of find out Lewis's story, like how much Tolkien impacted him. Like without Tolkien, we probably would not have C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
But also without C.S. Lewis, we probably wouldn't have the Lord of the Rings, because C.S. Lewis was one of those people who's like, hey, Tolkien, you've been working on the same page forever.
Yeah.
Move on. Come on.
Right? They're the OG Rebellion guys.
Yes. They are the ones like one of the other really cool things about Tolkien is he actually got C.S. Lewis his job at Oxford, because when C.S. Lewis converted to Christianity, the higher education field was like, you've switched sides. We don't want anything to do with you. And like it surprised Tolkien even. He's like, I've been a Catholic for years and years, and I've been a professor here, you know, like what's going on? And it was because C.S. Lewis switched sides, apparently. So higher education has not changed in the last 100 years, at least. I don't think.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Not at all. Not in, even a little bit. And I like, you know, like my favorite story, like, and I learned this. I can't remember if it was the extended cut of the Chronicles of Narnia or it was the appendices from the extended cut of the Lord of the Rings. But like, for those who don't know, Treebeard is based off of C.S. Lewis, because he had this massive booming voice, and like the other professors would have to close his door so that he wouldn't interrupt their lectures. So like literally Treebeard is C.S. Lewis, which I just adore, like unapologetically.
Yes. Yes. And then of course there were obviously characters within C.S. Lewis's work that were based off of Tolkien. Just any character that liked smoking, like, you know, Mr. Tumnus, you know, who makes your pop.
Absolutely.
See, there are people who didn't know that. Like without Tolkien, Lewis wouldn't have Like, it's crazy to think like how integral like they were to each other. It's crazy.
Because they both like sat down to start writing because they couldn't find the story on the shelf that they wanted to read. But if it hadn't been for them encouraging one another, like we literally wouldn't have either story. So it's just like those two are just so irrevocably linked, you know, in and it's, you know, and I've always felt like when Diggory and Polly go to the Wood Between Worlds, I'm like, one of those pools goes to Middle Earth. Like, there's one of them. It's in there somewhere.
Absolutely. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. It's amazing, and like, of course, like bringing up Polly and Diggory, and that's in the first chronological book. He actually wrote that like one of his second to last books as far as the Chronicles of Narnia are concerned. Him and so Lewis, who I'm going to call him Jack because that's what I'm used to calling him. That's what he called himself. So Jack and Tolkien actually had kind of a falling out because if you notice in the Magician's Nephew, he talks about magical rings, and Tolkien kind of took that as, you took my stuff, man. You took my stuff. And Lewis is like, they don't even work the same.
Yeah,
like,
and there has to be two of them.
Like, so yeah, it unfortunately that caused a big rift in both gentlemen's lives later on, which both of them regretted. Like, if you read any of the letters by Tolkien and Lewis, like, very much regretted that kind of dampening down of their friendship. Like, they were always good friends. It just kind of like dampened it down. And for anyone who ever has talked about possible homo there, they were not homo. I've seen articles written about it.
I don't know.
Yeah. It didn't happen. It's not a thing. They were brothers. Which there are a lot of there are a lot of other scandals that Lewis may have been part of, allegedly, but nobody actually can confirm any of this. And Tolkien was always one of those two people who would come to Lewis's defense. He's like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Good man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how you like say that. Like, so like going back, so I was horribly dyslexic and I learned to read on the American Girl books. That's how my mom taught me how to read. And for years, she just begged me to read because she knew it would help, obviously. And so she would just put books in my room with the hope that I'd pick them up. The first books I ever picked up by myself were the Jedi Apprentice books by Jude Watson, and that's how I became a Star Wars fan. It wasn't the movies; it was the Jedi Apprentice books by her. And then I picked up the Chronicles of Narnia, and those were the first books I ever really truly read without any prompting whatsoever. She got me brand new copies, put them in my room. She's like, "Here, you might enjoy these," because she loved, like, the Chronicles of Narnia are my mom's favorite books. Like, those are her books, and so I read those, fell in love with them, and when I read The Magician's Nephew, I remember thinking I could write some of the stories that lead to that are in the World Between Worlds. Like, some of those pools, those stories are unwritten. And I remember thinking, like, I could do that. I could write some of those stories, even though, and I didn't even like think about my dyslexia, but so like that made a huge impact on my life. And then Lord of the Rings came out, and I believe I read, it took me about 6 months, but I read them before Return of the King came out. And that was like a long, hard slog, but I was like so proud of myself that I finished those books. And it wasn't like C.S. Lewis left an impact on my creative spirit, but Tolkien left an impact on my intellectual spirit. Like, that's how I want, like, when I graduated high school, I was like, I am going to become a Tolkienist. I want to go to Oxford or Cambridge. That's what I want to study. I want to study Anglo-Saxon history. That's what I wanted to do. So obviously that didn't work out, as I've said time and time again. But like, I went on to higher education literally because of Tolkien. I loved Lord of the Rings, but I loved just him as a scholar, like that he was a professor. So like, that's how I like, those are the impact those two men left on my life.
Yes. And my friend Randy Jane in the house, she is just one of my good friends. She has no idea any of the things that we're talking about, but we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And A2 giving those awesome shout outs. She said, please because Lady Marine's like, you can't tell me what to do. But yeah, also yes, go subscribe to A Troubled Greens, because the next time we do this show, it will be on her channel. That way, okay. I'm like, which direction is the camera?
I know everything's backwards.
Yes. So yes, make sure I can sub twice. I would, but I can't.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. What is up, Lulu? Thank you for
Hi,
joining us. Yes. All right. I'm trying to think what else. There was something else about specifically Lewis that I was gonna mention. Something I actually had forgotten about, and I was kind of just briefly updating my knowledge on Lewis. He actually died the same day JFK did. So nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it. But that's kind of one of the things like I've noticed, like unfortunately, like poor C.S. Lewis, like he kind of like when he converted to Christianity, like he got sidetracked or not sidelined by a lot of like higher education people and stuff, and like kind of like he like I remember reading one of Tolkien's letters about it. He's like, Lewis should be like the head of a chair, like he should be the chair of a department. Why are they like doing this? And like it just I feel like for so much of like Lewis's life, like his stuff went unappreciated until like after his death, unfortunately, or because of Tolkien, like because Tolkien would promote his works and stuff. So,
and I think also it's just like, you know, as we move further and deeper into the modern era, I was at my university one day, and we always go to the Satellite Coffee to get like me and the other grad students of the office that I worked in would go get our morning tea and our morning coffee and our scones, and like, you know, we just set up our day. And one of the young baristas, very sweet young girl, nice. She was like, oh, because she knew I was into fantasy. She's like, I'm reading Chronicles of Narnia, and the girl standing next to me is full on atheist, full on like just radical leftist. She's like, you do realize that's a allegory for Christianity, right? And then she shut this young girl down so hard, and I was like, what? Why is that a problem? Why should she not read them if she's enjoying them? And like, it was the most awkward moment. And so yeah, that's it's the Chronicles of Narnia. If you read them, they are a blatant allegory for Christianity, but they're also just so good. It's just it boggles my mind that good. Like people will shut that conversation down simply because they know Aslan is Jesus. Like
Jesus.
they have an issue with that, you know? So
yeah.
It's sad.
But to trying to steer us back towards Tolkien, because there's so, like, for me it's so no, it's my fault, because like I'm more of a C.S. Lewis person, so it's like it's hard for me not to talk about Tolkien without Lewis.
Exactly. No, I agree. Like those two men, it's almost, to me, it's almost impossible to think of them like separate.
And like one of the other cool things, or I say cool things, one of the interesting facts about kind of like they had somewhat of a similar, like not super similar, but like had some similar circumstances that happened to them when they were children. Like both of their like mothers passed away when they were very young and stuff. Both of them actually, I think I might have my dates mixed up. I think they actually went to like I think when Tolkien was finishing his degree, that's when Lewis was coming in or something. Like they just kind of had missed each other. And then when the war happened, they're like, wait, you were at Oxford? I was at Oxford. Where were you? It's kind of like how that happened. And like it was just kind of crazy to also like looking how World War I affected both of them, and how like vehemently like Tolkien was trying to get away. He's like, no, I have to finish my freaking education. I want to do this. Y'all mess, like this whole World War thing is messing with my education. Excuse you.
Rude.
I thought that was so funny, because like I was also like up, like just kind of refreshing on some of Tolkien's letters, and I'm like looking at one of these letters, I'm like, there's a war going on. You're just like, these people like wanting me to do all this stuff, and I'm like, there's a war going on, dude. Tolkien, you know, cut them some slack.
They're stressed too.
Oh gosh, and just like like realizing, you know, both world wars, how like they impacted both gentlemen, and like
and their writing and stuff.
I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
And like I guess kind of how we'll tie this back into Tolkien. Like that's one of the other things, like I guess a lot of people don't realize that Tolkien's word E2.
Tell him, girl.
Like, Tolkien's works actually are inspired by real places that he lived in. Like the Shire is based off of like where he grew up and stuff, and like Mordor, like the kind of idea of Mordor is his viewpoint on the modernization of England and everything, and just kind of like Mordor is supposed to be this place with smoke all the time, and it's just kind of like how Oxford, like that whole area of London and stuff, is just very nasty, very gross, and that's where he got a lot of his inspiration from, was real life. And
like Rivendell was that place in Switzerland that it starts with an L. It's like a mile long, and I don't know how to say it. But it's the waterfalls. Just waterfalls are everywhere. And like when you read the description of Rivendell, it's like, that's that place in Switzerland, because I think that's where he and his wife vacationed, or that's where they went a lot. That's all I know.
You're welcome, A2. Thank you. It's so good to like we're already educating people. This is great.
We're already achieving
goals. But I bet you, and this is me putting on my thinking cap, I bet you those people at OneRing.net have no idea about any of this either.
Considering what they did today, or was it? No, it was yesterday. No, they don't, evidently. And like, they're a special bunch.
They are. It's so great. I also like one of the other things, I guess kind of we're going with fun facts about Tolkien now. Tolkien actually helped write the Oxford English Dictionary.
Yes,
like there was a point, I forget which letter this was, where somebody was talking about, well, this isn't a real word or something or other, and he's like, I freaking wrote the dictionary. I decide what is and is not a word.
You sit down, you pup. Yeah, I can't even like begin to, because it's so funny when you watch the appendices of the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings, that like the guy from Houghton Mifflin? Not Houghton Mifflin. No, who was the first? Who were the first people who published Lord of the Rings? That he was the young boy. He was 9, and his dad had him read The Hobbit. And he's like, in those days, you did not edit a Don. Like, you didn't edit a Don. You didn't tell them no, and you did not edit them. They gave you a book, and you said, okay, cool, it'll be out in a month. And that's it. That was it. You did not, especially someone of his stature, like, you did not, because, I mean, like, Philippa Boynes is right. I'm an editor. Like, that's my training. I'm an academic editor. I know the publication process. I've typeset. I have coded things. I know what goes on in publishing. If Philippa Boynes is right, if he were edited today, Tom Bombadil would be axed like immediately. No, we're not. What is this? Who is this person, and why is he relevant? So that's why, like, I'm one of those people. I'm one of the few people I think on the planet who is glad Tom Bombadil is not in the movie, because those like 2 or 3 chapters are just agonizing to get through. Because it's so random. It's just so random, and it just slows things down. But
even the audiobook, even the audiobooks, like, because I was listening to the audiobooks of about 6 months back, they completely axed Tom Bombadil from the readings, like just that whole part of it. I'm just like,
funny.
Where's Tom Bombadil? I'm like listening. I'm like, he's supposed to come in or about here, and they're like, nope. Like,
that's funny. I will say that the new recordings that Andy Serkis did that are available on Audible, which I do have, it made it go much faster, because the Robert Inglis recording, his voice is just so, I love him, but it's so slow and it always puts me to sleep. But like Andy Serkis got through that very quickly. I was like, thank God.
He's like, I ain't taking no time on this.
We got things to do. I need to get to Gollum.
And then Talking Dub, he, like, you are absolutely correct. Don't forget, he made entire languages and the language's backstory. Like, he made the language first, and then he's like, I need a story to go with this language I just created.
Is very pretty. Who does that?
Like, I guess, you know, is that a cart before the horse thing, or is the horse, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like,
that is
this is one where it doesn't quite make sense to a lot of people. It's like, don't you need the story before you make the language?
Yes.
Like, it is crazy. Too, we're, like, just me, like, when I first heard that, I'm like, you did the language, and you're like, I need to do something about this language thing? And I'm like...
And like half of the Unfinished Tales, which I had my special edition back there. I'm getting my like toss around copy in the mail here soon. But like, you know, like in the Unfinished Tales, which is like the whole point of that is for Christopher to be like, so I found this scrap of paper and my dad didn't translate it. So now I don't know what to do. So I'm going to guess what this says. Like, that's the whole point of the Unfinished Tales is for Christopher. And because I was specifically reading the section on Galadriel and Celeborn. And Christopher is very open, and he's like, so in the appendices, my dad wrote this. And then in this book, he wrote this. So there's contradictions all over the wazoo about where they were at what time. But for practical purposes, here more or less is their story, their vignette. But yeah, he like Christopher would just keep stumbling across stuff and be like, well, crap. Now I have to translate this.
Like, what
These
is
are
this?
dwarf ruins.
Yeah, or like I feel like I read somewhere that he would like just literally find like stuff written in Elvish, or like I think Tolkien was like possibly working on another language, and Christopher's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and remember there are two Elven languages. There's Quenya and there's Sindarian, and then we have Dwarvish.
Yes,
there's just a whole lot.
I'm just like, I have a hard time like with my Greek stuff. Like, I'm just like, I try to learn. You know, I also know a little bit of Spanish, and I'm like, I couldn't do this. This is crazy, guys.
I know. Poor Christopher. Yes.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, God bless him for he's like, no, I'm gonna dedicate my life to that. That is a dedicated son. But did you hear Patricia died yesterday? We have officially lost
I did see that
Tolkien child. So now all that's left is the grandchildren and great grandchildren. Yeah.
And granted, like, I don't think Patricia was as invested as Christopher was with the lore and stuff, but she did have a part to play.
She did.
And
so it's sad.
Dang it. Yeah.
I know. So
we're losing the good ones, boys. We're losing the good ones.
But you know, it's like, this is like getting kind of like, you know, maybe segueing a little bit into our next topic. It's like, the people at OneRing.net act like Tolkien is just some other run-of-your-mill fantasy scholar. Like, I don't know if you saw, I think it was, and because I'm blocked by them, so I thank God for people making videos on their stuff and taking screenshots, because I have no idea what's going on. But they were asking for access for the Elden Ring, which I know nothing about. I'm not a gamer. I have absolutely no idea what this thing is. It's something to do with J.R. Martin, I think. I have no idea.
It's a game. It's a really nice game.
Okay. I know everyone's playing it, but I'm like, I don't understand. Yeah. So, but like, they're asking for access to like the swords, and they want a sword. They want a replica of a sword, and so I'm like, okay, so they're basically shills, like, that confirmed. But like, they just don't seem to care or understand just the depth of the level of genius that Tolkien had. Like, I would say he's probably a prodigy, because how many people sit around and make up a language, let alone multiple languages? Right.
Well, also, like, we have to understand, like, Tolkien was first an educational, like, he was a scholar, like, scholar first, artist kind of seconds, like,
like a very close
but
second.
Like very, very, very close. And like, you know, just kind of going back to the simple fact that like he literally helped create the Oxford English Dictionary, which has been used forever and is still in publication. Like, he has had a lasting impact. Like, a lot of his translations for like Beowulf, and this is where I'm actually going on my personal notes that I wrote about this.
You're so much
like
more
his translation. Oh, if you could see the note, I was at work and I'm just like, I have to type this out, and then I took a picture of it. And so like, yeah, his translation of Beowulf is still one of the better translations to my understanding.
And Sir Gawain and the Green Knight as well, right? I mean, that translation is incredible as well.
Yeah, and he's still considered an authority on on different old Anglo-Saxons, like writing, like on the English, like some of the things that he put into practice at Oxford, and like all of these other institutes of higher education, like a lot of stuff copied from Tolkien's style, like how he did things. Like, he made standards for like he basically from the ground up built the Anglo-Saxon fascination or just like the study of like King Arthur, and like he had so much.
Which saying that, and then thinking about what the Tolkien Society and the big massive annual Tolkien conference that happens every year, hey beautiful, in Oxford, if you go and look, and maybe next time we can pull this up and look on it on our next one, if you look at the paper topics of what they're doing, so it's like, okay, so he's canon. So like King Arthur, Beowulf, that is canonical reading that any student who wants to specialize in those areas has to read. So he's still considered the authority, but yet you want to deconstruct him and delegitimize him in the exact same breath because he's a white Christian man, straight man. So make up your mind. You can't have it both ways. If you get rid of his translations or you stop doing this, you can't have it both ways. So it's like it boggles my mind that in literature courses we're still reading this, but they're like, now let's talk about how everyone's gay. Let's just do it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? So that's what boggles my mind about the scholarship. It's like, either let him go or stop being assholes. Like, pick one.
Right, absolutely. And I trying to go back to, I forget her name every single time I see her, but that weird blonde chick who like did the kind of review on the Amazon Rings of Power and things. She's like,
Grace something or other.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things she talks about, like, people don't even know this mythology anymore. I'm just like,
yeah, who?
This is still like the series is still sells, like,
yeah.
She's
still one of like the. I'm sorry, you know what? I splurged on the new illustrated editions. Alan Lee is the illustrator. I splurged on those for Christmas, so I have those, and then I have the Great Tales, which is the Baron and Luthien, the Fall of Gondolin, and the Children of something that starts with an H, and I can't pronounce it. And then I got the Silmarillion and the
I was gonna try.
Yeah, Hurin, I think. I don't know.
Hurin. I think it's either Horin or Hurin. I think I've heard it.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Like, they wouldn't still be doing this if for whatever reason he wasn't popular anymore. And there have been like several new 50th editions that have come out of the Lord of the Rings. If it weren't selling like hotcakes, they would stop reprinting them.
Absolutely. And yeah, I agree with Talking Dead. Like, there are people, like two people jumped in. But like, yeah, there's so much smuck.
Yes,
I call it smuck.
Oh my gosh, I just did a review on my Bookstagram. Thank you. Yes, I applaud that comment because yes, there is.
Like, I was gonna try and think of a different word to describe it, but I'm just considering all of it schmuck. Like, all of the stupid stuff that we like are getting nowadays is just. It's like, 50 Shades of Grey generation. That's what we need to start calling it, because that's what people consider as good literature.
That is
50 Shades of Grey. I'm like,
yeah, because like I'm on like chapter 10 of A Court of Thorn and Roses, which if you get on Bookstagram and like the fantasy section, everyone and their dog is reading Sarah Maas, and oh my god, is it bad. I couldn't wrap my head around how bad this book is. And then I went back and
Thank you,
reread.
Nick. You're awesome, Nick.
Thank
Nick's
you.
one of my awesome mods.
Nice, thank you. I just reread Christopher Paolini's Inheritance Cycle. It's the Aragorn and Saphira about dragon riders, and I'm just like, and that was published in, I believe, Aragorn came out in 2003, and it's just like, why are, and here's the thing, having worked in publishing, I'm like, I don't necessarily blame Sarah Maas, because I agree with you, it is the 50 Shades of Grey generation. I blame the editor, because the editor's job is to elevate the writing. And whatever editor she had was lazy as hell, because it's like, who let this slip through the cracks? Like, who let this get in? And if you want to make a steamy, erotic fantasy story about the fairy court, fine. I don't really care. It's not my thing. You want to write that, fine. But at least have your prose be better than something you could read on Archive of Our Own. Like, oh my gosh, it's so bad.
And there are some like books that like a couple of my coworkers are also, they consider themselves readers, but it's mostly all just smuck. Like I've read a couple of like books that they've recommended to me, and I'm just like, that's all we're talking about is how sculpted his pectoral muscles are, and I'm just like, can we please just get back to fairies and dragons?
Right?
God, I'd rather talk about those.
Exactly. And this is where I come back to, like, Gary's like, if George Martin would finish the Game of Thrones, it's not my cup of tea. Never watched it, never read them. I have no intention to, because I don't like gratuitous sex, and it's sprinkled it's just everywhere. And I'm like, Tolkien is I would argue the greatest writer of the 20th century, and will probably remain so. And he did that without writing a single bedroom scene.
Absolutely.
So people had children, so it is implied. And that's all we need to know. That is all we need to know. And it's like, to me, what we're seeing right now is just full on laziness. It's lazy and unimaginative, because it's like, I ran out of ideas. I know what I'll do. Like, oh, you're so original.
Yeah, Talking Deb, I agree. It might be a good thing that they're not quite as detailed as Tolkien was on certain things.
That's true.
Tolkien was respectable, or as what's her face? Is there actually money in posterity? No, respectability. There's no money to be gained in respectability. Very educated saying. Anyway. Thank you, Nick, so much for all the tags and stuff. What's up, Chris? Welcome. Yes. And A2 is also working on doing the stuff and stuffs. She is also one of the bestest mods. I have lots of fantastic mods.
Yeah, I'm
yes, Chris. I have a pipe.
Yes.
Like, my husband's had this, like, we got this actually on our honeymoon because we were traveling, and he's just like, it's so cool. It's just a keepsake, and I'm just like, I know, right? Idea.
I want a pipe for like my Bookstagram, like, because I see all these other Tolkien accounts having like pipes, and I'm like, I need a good pipe.
If you want, I'll send you a picture of it, and you can just Photoshop, like how these people. I mean, nope, wrong thing. Let's just do this. Let's add the Photoshop like they did to this guy over here. Yes, very educated. Wonderful.
It's so bad.
Mando versus me in a smoking contest. I don't actually smoke. This is just for looks, and it's really cool. Yes.
It makes you look distinguished.
Gotta blow bubbles out of it. Mr. Bloop Bloop says that, which is my husband. He says that this is not meant to blow bubbles, and I calm down. It's a prop. I'm telling them it's a prop. If I want a bubble one, I'm gonna get a bubble one. I'm in the middle of a live stream, dear.
Well, you'll have to ask Jay for a bubble one. He'll love that.
I know, yes. I need to tell Jay, like, Jay, I need a bubble pipe.
No.
Oh, God. Yes.
This is so insulting. on so many levels to so many people for so many reasons. This is just horrifyingly bad.
So something I was telling Leja, but backstage. So when I first saw this, I actually didn't notice the Photoshop part first. I went to, that's Sting. That's a sword. That's not supposed to be in existence yet. What? And then I looked up. I was like, oh god, oh my,
Oh god.
oh god, what is that?
It's just, could they have like tried to shrink his head down
Just a little bit
Just a
more,
little
just
bit.
a little bit. Or also, like, if you'll notice, which it's hard to see right here, but like there, like you can see the line of the Photoshop, like you can see the evidence.
Yeah, it's just so bad.
They could have at least tried. He has a psycho look on his. Yes, that
Yes,
too.
he does. He's got crazy eyes.
It's like, I'm crazy. Yes, yeah. Next time I'll wear contacts because I just now realized how bad the glare is in my glasses.
Oh, you're brave. I tried contacts at one point in my life, and I thought they were medieval torture devices. I was like, never again.
Once you get used to poking yourself in the eye, it's fine.
That's terrible. Yes, it is. It's just, and the fact that they did this on the last day of Black History Month, and they didn't, to the best of my knowledge, didn't say a single solitary thing about it all month. And they were like, "Oh crap! It's the last day. We need to get our virtue signal in."
Yeah,
and they did that.
And one of the other things, and once it was pointed out to me, I can't unsee it. If you look at the dwarf lady, her loopy thingies are lopsided. I can't unsee it. Like once, like, could you guys at least, when you did the editing of the poster, just
I know. So fucking bad.
Like, just made them look even, like, you can just shave out, like, just in editing, just, Photoshop, use just a little brush, and just get rid of that.
Anything. Yeah, I know. My OCD was like, nah, take it. Yeah, see, yeah, I just, no. That picture, yeah, A2 and I have talked about this, that she's like, am I supposed to sacrifice my child to her? Like, what's going on? She looks so creepy.
The Dorito goddess. The Dorito goddess.
And the gold dust is on her hands. She didn't lick the cheese off.
She liked those Doritos a lot.
Got in her hair, got everywhere.
She just she went into one of the dwarven vaults. She's like, ooh, sparkly, I'm gonna dive in it. And just powder, sparkly powder.
It's flavor.
Oh god. Don't all dwarfs have beards? Well, I have not read every single Tolkien letter in existence, but according to all of the letters I've read, they're supposed to have beards.
Yes.
And but that's just me and my white bigoted self, that white privilege just blinds you to logical things,
It does. Because when the author sits down and specifically says something, no, they never had beards. God.
Everyone's like, the beard, oh god, the beard. Imagine if she did have a beard, though. I bet you they'd have like gold, like little dust flakes in it, and it'd look all braided.
And the thing is, I think Az is right that they because Az has talked about this a lot, and I think he's very correct in saying that they could have had an opportunity here to have perhaps a transgender man play this role because of the beard, but they didn't, because this virtue signal is as empty as anything else they're doing, because they can't make her look ridiculous. And I think Az is completely right. This is an empty virtue signal because the lore is there. I'm sorry, dwarven women had beards. It is in the lore. End of story. End of discussion.
And like other people have said, we've seen different franchises where it is shown that dwarven women having beards, like in the Witcher series, it's not uncommon, and I don't think the outcry would be as crazy as I guess the higher ups were thinking it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Chris's dwarf confirmed. Yes. Uh,
Oh, thank you, Chris.
yes. Chris's dwarf totally canon now. Yes. Yes. I wonder if he'll have silkies though.
Every time. Every time. It never fails.
Okay.
I'm gonna clip that and send it to Max.
Do dwarves eat Taco Bell? You know, she's got the little the nachos.
Yeah, she's got that used to be the Taco Bell, the old school logo was the Dorito.
Oh, A2.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, I'm sure, you know, there are diverse dwarves in this Amazon story. I'm sure
Yes.
the dwarves can be tall now. Yes, please make sure to follow the Troubled Green.
Thank you.
Green? I hope I said green. I feel like I said green.
That's okay.
Yeah, dwarves can be 5'11", Chris. It's fine. If they can be black,
Chris.
They can be 5'11".
Fine. But like, okay, so like, I mean, this ultimately, this is why gatekeeping matters. Like this just because like I said last night on Max's stream, it was the OneRing.net that stopped Otwin from being at Helm's Deep. Like they're responsible for holding Jackson accountable to the lore. That was their job, and they listened to them. And I know the OneRing.com, which is a much more sane site, and I follow them, and I need to join their forums. But I am actually on their forums now. Oh, nice. Okay, I need to do that. But like New Line Cinema knew they had to respect what the fans wanted, and they worked with them. And it's just, it boggles my mind to no end that just like there's been this insidious like seeping in of these activists that have taken over groups like this that used to give a damn, and now they clearly do not. So this is why gatekeeping is so important. Again, like Gary said, you want to come be a fan, come be a fan. We all want to nerd out and geek out about the thing that we love. Like whenever I find someone who's read Brian Jacques Redwall series, I'm just like, oh my god, there's another fan, and we sit there and I like cry with him about like all the things that Brian Jacques has read. And if you haven't read those books, please go read them. There, I have it on my Instagram account. It's Tolkien meets C.S. Lewis, literally, and Anglo-Saxon history. They're amazing. Talking animals.
Yeah, that's going to be on my list once we get through.
Yes.
all of this.
All of the goodness. But in any case, so one of that's why this. Anyways, so come be a fan, but you should not feel the need to change it. In the story. Yes. And that's the thing, like if you don't like something about it, go make your own. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because like literally I know. I like my sister got me the really cool lights that Ryan has, like the ones that he has, it's like red on one side and blue on the other. She got me those for Christmas. I haven't played around with them yet because I just haven't had time. So, but they're sitting in a box under here. So the next time I'm going to see if I can play around with the lights because I realized this is really dark. Like I didn't realize that until last night. So I'm going to try and fix this. To answer your question, yes, there is a face who I think, me personally, granted, what is he supposed to be a Sylvan elf or is he an Naldorian? He's Sylvan. Sylvan. Okay, so that's the group that didn't go to okay. Like those are the elves that wound up in Mirkwood that he describes in The Hobbit as being less wise and more dangerous. Right. Okay. So that throws my theory out the window. You know I was thinking it was supposed to be Manwë. Okay, that would make sense. But yeah, he's Sylvan. But like, what that looks like to me is the Green Man. Like,
You're right. It does.
that's what it looks like to me. It looks like the Green Man, and I'm like, that's a Thurian legend. That's from a much later date than Tolkien was basing Middle Earth. It's just is that Mark Twain on his chest? And I mean, it could be.
I mean, it does look. It does look.
It actually does kind of look like. Great, now I can't see it.
Hashtag Mark Twain armor in style. Hashtag Mark Twain armor now.
That is brilliant.
Oh my god. Now we'll know whenever you guys comment on the Amazon's Twitter, you can comment Mark Twain armor.
Yes, and they'll be like, what are they talking about?
It's gonna be like Mando and Elijah. I love the comment section here because this is exactly what it is right there. Yeah. New canon added to the show. Yes, I agree. I'll go ahead and stop sharing that. I think we've thoroughly degraded them. Oh god. Mark. Yes. Oh god. Yeah. I just.
What this is. I mean, I agree with everyone. This is going to be $1 billion fan fiction. That's just what it's
like there. I think even in Ryan's newest video that he did today, he was talking about like this is just. Even it's going to be an out that people on Amazon are going to use. It's like, well, we're making our own stuff because we don't have. We're going to do the Star Wars method and be like, well, there was no source material.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had to make up our own crap.
Yes, there's nothing to build on. We had to build it from the ground up. I absolutely 100% agree that and it is like. And part of me makes me wonder, I'm like, did they not pursue the rights to the other materials? Or like, because if you do that, then that is the most convenient out. Like we don't have access to it. So we had to make up 22 brand new characters and give them storylines because we didn't have anything else.
Well, I think part of it could partly because I've heard some also rumors about Warner Brothers possibly losing the rights, and that's why they're actually making War of the Rohirrim, which I'm actually excited for.
I am too.
It looks cool. Like I want to see, Helmhammer like, beating some orcs up and stuff.
Yeah, and like the even just the two pieces of art that have dropped for it. I'm like, yes, it's Middle Earth. Yeah, thank you.
Well, it was we were talking about it in my Discord for any of you who are curious. I have a Discord. We were talking about there was a fan made trailer like that was better than the Amazon $1 bajillion thingamabob. Like,
oh, so good. That was such a good trailer because it was dark and gritty and it like I agree.
Sorry, I have so many pop-ups. Go away, all the pop-ups.
I was reading Chris's.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. All of this corporate government stupidity government shouldn't be in private. Like there is a balance, but government oversight should not trump private companies' right to hire whoever the heck they want.
Yes. Nope. 100% agree. Yes, join it. We have fun. We have much fun.
Yes, we do. We do. Yes, join the Discord. And also, I don't have a monocle. I was looking for one. That's why I chose my glasses instead of my contacts. Guys, like I had hopefully this all doesn't fall down. Like if my headphones weren't so big, I was going to do like this whole number and be like, welcome to the literary sisters today. But no, the hat shall just be over here on my Mando helmet.
There you go. Did have monocle? Okay. I know nothing about EVS, like
I
literally
don't
not
either.
one single solitary. I'm like, I don't know. Comics? It's a book. I don't know. Like, I am not a comic person because this is such a rabbit trail, but like, I like books. In case that's not clear, I love books because I'm entertained I buy a comic for $7 and I'm entertained for a whopping 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm like, that was it. I spent all this money for that.
So here's where I've kind of like this weird in between. Hopefully I don't break all my stuff over here. Where I love books. I love books, but I also love comic books.
Nice.
I like both.
I have one comic, and it's one of the thicker ones. It's like of all the issues put together. I don't know what those are called. It's of Supergirl, and it's like when Superman finds her, and then she has to go to Themyscira, and then Granny Goodness kidnaps her, and she's brainwashed by Darkseid, and then the Justice League has to go and rescue her. Like, literally, that is the only comic that I own is about Supergirl. Thank you. I don't care about.
And like, everyone has their things. Like, yeah. I guess, like, I'm this weird hybrid. Like, I love, like, higher education, like, you know, like, being all super fancy and reading all of the books, like, you know, the Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey. And then I go play video games like Mario Kart with people.
Life is about balance. Like, I have a PS4, but I only have one game, and no, I will not be streaming it for anyone else.
Dang it. It's gonna be like you and I could stream it together.
Well, it's just I have Jedi Fallen Order. It's the only game I have. I take that.
I actually don't have that game.
Well, mine's glitching, so I don't know if I'll ever finish it. Cappy might help me, but I did download Fortnite, but I don't know how to start it. I have absolutely I have no idea where the start button is, and I don't know how I choose a character. So I'm like, whatever. I've got so much to do. Like, I frankly do not care. I'm like, maybe over the summer I'll try and play some more games, but right now I just don't care.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm still waiting on my beanie, so, you know.
Oh, yours is next. I've got one. I've got one that is halfway done, and I'm gonna hopefully finish it tonight. Yours is getting started either tomorrow or Thursday.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, well, then you have to, like, tell me how I start the game. Where's the start button?
Fortnite is what is called cross-platform. So basically, like, if you have a PS, whatever, Xbox or Steam, Steam is for, like, people who play on PC and stuff. Like, it's free. You can download it onto either your computer or whatever thingamabob. I don't know how the other consoles work because I'm a PC gamer. I know, blasphemy. So we'll help you. We'll help you. The ultimate collector.
All right. Yeah, my mom is like, she like literally is like, if you come home with any more books.
What's up?
Yeah, she's like, hi John. Jerk.
Oh god, yeah.
But there was something I was gonna say. Oh, like, you know, and that's what's so funny I find about these people. Like, you know, we watched that guy, that Tolkien professor, and I did some digging. And okay, hold on. Let me tell you my theory. I will try to keep this brief and not like rant for 25 minutes. Okay. So I did some digging into the Tolkien professor.
You rant? It's fine. It's fine. We did. Okay. We kind of were like, maybe we'll do 2 hours. And
we'll see where this goes. So the Tolkien professor, who was on IGN's official webpage, and like that was where the beard thing came from. And he's like, dwarves never had beards. All right, Chris, have fun. And then he like got blasted out of the water, and everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about? Yes, he did. Tolkien wrote that down. Like, stop being blasphemous. You call yourself the Tolkien professor. Okay. So Max, if you aren't aware, I was on another stream last night for Max MVP. Go to subscribe to his channel. I was on a stream last night. He sent me one of this guy's YouTube videos, and it's from a university. It's called Sigyn
I started
University.
getting recommended his videos after I
Yes.
watched that crap. I'm like, oh
Yes.
God, no, go away.
No, go away. So, okay, here's what's crazy. I don't the video, like, I was like, I'm done. I didn't finish it. I was like, no, this is a load of bullshit. I'm moving on. So, but I was more interested about his university. It has only been accredited since 2018, and the state of New Hampshire was very reluctant to grant that accreditation. They had to crowdfund it for $27,000. And the state of New Hampshire only granted that because they crowdfunded it. Now, this is an online school. Okay. Now, I understand that in some cases, there is a stigma. Again, I'm a university person. I'm in a PhD program. Like, I get academia. I've been in higher education. I've been in the White Tower of academia for over 10 years. I understand things. I know how things work. I know that there's a bit of a stigma towards online universities, but this university, it's laughably pathetic. And like, there's more to be said on this, and I could say it, but ultimately what I think he's doing is he's looking for brownie shilling points. Because if I went to my professor, say that this online school was for Irish studies, and I went to my professors in undergrad and said, I want to go here to get my master's, because all they offer is a master's of English. That's it. That is the only degree you can get from this place. They have 6 professors, end of story. That's it. He would be like, don't get a degree then. Like, that image matters. I would not be surprised if professors are talking their undergrads out of going to this university and getting a degree from there, because that is laughably pathetic. I'm sorry, you will not get hired. You'll be laughed out of conferences. You will not be taken seriously. No one will respect the letters behind your name. Image matters in academia. But if he can dangle, oh, look, Amazon gave me access. Oh, look, I did this thing for Amazon. He might be thinking that this TV show will spur young people onto being like, I want to be a Tolkienist. And he's like, ooh, look, we've got Dr. Shippey. Dr. Shippey did teach a class, but that was in 2019. He hasn't been back since. And I'm like, oh, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
It's baffling. And then the
I wonder why
right.
a professor of his distinguishedness would.
Yeah. And then I looked at the other professors, and they are all of them. They are activists. They're like, 2 of them are younger than me, but I'm like, what did you guys get your degrees in? Dishwashing? Sorry, I don't mean to be a snob. I'm like, on the level of academia where these people are, I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. This is pathetic.
Yes, I got my master's degree in the proper procedure for washing the dishes. Yes.
I majored in movement. What? So that's who he's got working for him, and they're online classes. Oh, and not only that, he's putting his online classes up on YouTube for free. So why do I even need to go to get a degree if all of the lectures are on YouTube? I'm like, why? Why? So,
like you post something on YouTube, you post clips to entice people.
Yeah,
like,
not the whole thing.
Entice the person. God. They might have listened to Tolkien on Audible.
Yes.
No.
Well done. Yes, well said. So anyways,
I mean, that's how a lot of people are getting their education nowadays anyway.
Yes, that's accurate. So, there's more to be said, but he is looking for clout so that his university will be taken seriously so he can make more money. I'm sorry. That to me is the goal at the end of the day for that guy. And that's why I think probably if we listen to his podcast, like, I don't know, from 10 years ago, he'd probably be like a Tolkien purist. And now I think that, and I don't know that, I'm making assumptions, but it's like, I bet you he is turning into this, like, we don't have to respect the lore, and we can judge this just based off of what we see on the screen. We don't need to know anything about Tolkien in order to judge the show. I'm like, shut up. So
like, even in my miniature essay that I sent you about this video, like, the first thing I noticed, he's like, he doesn't know a modest book about the Second Age.
Excuse me?
Like, First and Second Age. First and Second Age. What? Like, what? He doesn't know of a book about the Second Age?
And also, I think that this is just rich. So he got his PhD from the University of Columbia in medieval literature, which is fine, great. I'll give you a round of applause if you want it. You're whatever. But he has not published, and if you're not publishing in academia, you're considered like dead. Like you're just not relevant. If you're not publishing like 3 articles a year and putting out a book, especially in literature and in medieval studies, you should be publishing like that. I mean, the professors at my university, because we have a really strong medieval department and Anglo-Saxon department, oh my gosh, they are constantly publishing. He has not published anything since 2015.
Well, it's because it means that you're actually doing research. It means you're learning new things. It means you're actually putting your knowledge to the test.
Yes.
It means, hey, if you're learning something new, like, it's crazy. Like, just some of, like, I think also in that particular video, I think that here's the biggest, for people who are defending, or for Tolkien's scholars who, are defending Amazon's Lord of the Rings, I think part of the problem, and I could be mistaken, they do not understand the motivations behind the two. Like, they don't understand there's a difference behind the motivations. Like, Tolkien did what he did because he loved it. Like, when the dude was talking about adaptations and like, oh, Tolkien did adaptations too. Nobody's complaining about that. Like, Tolkien did adaptations because he loved the material. He wanted to bring it to life. He wanted to do something with it. What these people are doing at Amazon Lord of the Rings stuff is cash grab. It's their cash cow. It's literally just this is a big name. We want to make money. We don't have what we want to, have with it. So we're just going to make crap up, and they don't have love for it. There's a huge difference. Like, that's fundamental. If those two things are fundamentally different, they might on the outset kind of look similar, but if those two things aren't the same, it is two totally different things, and that needs to be what's understood for anyone who is a quote unquote Tolkien scholars. Do you understand the motivation? Why do I keep trying to say it like that? If you don't understand the motivation behind someone doing a certain thing, you don't understand anything about the thing itself at that point.
And also that he literally was writing this as a gift to England. He's like, this is my gift to England, because we lost all of our history and all of our oral tradition and all of our stories in 1066 when the Normans took over. We lost everything. King Arthur's French. He just is. It's a French story that was translated into English. He has nothing to do with England. So he's like, this is my gift to my country. How many people do that? My whole country. Here's my gift.
And he hated what was happening to England. Like, what we touched about earlier, like all of the modernization that was happening. He hated it. Yeah. Like, I forget the exact quote, and I'm going to forgive me for butchering the exact quote. He said he felt like he was an old, like, someone who should have been he was born in the wrong era. Like, he should have been born, like 100 years prior. Like, he felt like he hated cars.
Yeah.
Like, he hated like modern day technology.
Yeah, like literally the charge of the Pelennor Fields came from him training horses for World War I, because that was the last time we used horses in combat, was World War I. And like, that's where the Battle of the Pelennor Fields came from, because he would train these horses and then they would take them away and they'd get gunned down by the machine guns, because that's the new cowardly way of fighting.
Absolutely. It's I think one of the other things, like, kind of the reason why Tolkien and Lewis and like their contemporaries matter is they're the bridge from old to new.
Yes.
They understand the value, the beauty, the history, but they also are coming into this very fast, 20th, to 21st century time period, and like they kept the love of medieval literature, of Greek and Latin. They kept that love and that respect alive, because the trend was going away from medieval. The trend, like, all of these trends were going away from these things. They're like, no, they're important still.
Yeah. And like, even like that, I think it was in one of Gary's latest videos, he had that interview from Christopher, and Christopher was quite old when that was done, so maybe 90s when that was filmed, It was like
I
that
imagine so.
he specifically said that his father mourned the loss of chivalry. And I'm like, that can be a whole topic unto itself that we can talk about, like chivalry, masculinity, femininity within Tolkien's world. But he was literally trying to preserve what it meant to be chivalrous. Like, it just like touches my heart. You know? Yeah,
and like part of like also kind of in the same vein but a little bit different, like when C.S. Lewis during World War II, like that's when he created Mere Christianity, because it was it was talks over the radio, because what they wanted was to help Britain remember their Christian background. He wanted to explain to the 20th century, because it was modernism. Where we're in postmodernism now. Modernism was what was happening then. I could be mistaken on my terminology.
Exactly right.
Okay. And so what they wanted C.S. Lewis to do is be like, okay, all of this mass death and destruction, like the bombings are going on around you. Here is someone on the radio who is talking coherently, who is, pleasant to hear, and who's intelligent, like someone you want to listen to on the radio, reminding the people of Europe, like, this is your heritage. This is why we're fighting. Like, we're fighting against true evil. Like when Tolkien and Lewis talk about evil, they saw it firsthand. They saw their they saw people dying in front of them on the battlefield.
Like Christopher,
most of them were injured.
Yeah, and like Christopher Lee says, he was in the trenches too. He's like, have you ever heard someone get stabbed in the back? Because I have. It's like when he's like, it's not a sound, it's a gasp, because it's like the breath is leaving your body. They did. Those young men saw what true evil looked like, and that goes back to these a lot of horrible words that I'm not going to say because it'll get the stream taken down. These people who think that Frodo and Sam are gay, and it's like, no. Because you haven't been in the trenches having to hold someone who you considered a brother die in your arms. So shut up.
Yeah, like one of the quote unquote scandals that people were always, I guess, talking about with in regards to C.S. Lewis is because some of the guys that he had when he was about to go into the trenches, they made a pact like, hey, if I die, you take care of my family. If you die, I'll take care of your family. So what Lewis did is one of his friends died, and so he ended up taking care of his mom for the rest of her life. And there was this scandal that the two were actually like sleeping together, and there's no actual evidence for this, but it was because like Lewis loved her, and he would call her mom because she became a second mom to him. And the reason why he held such loyalty, such love for her, is because her son, which was one of his best friends, died in front of him. Like, of course you're gonna take good care of somebody when you have that kind of connection. Like all of the stupid messed up stuff, like people can't just be friends anymore. People just can't be friends anymore.
No. But that's why we're part of the rebellion. We're bringing it back.
Yes. Quit.
Yes. Nice. I'm not a hat person, so I didn't get a hat, but I got a shirt and a sweatshirt.
Let me do. This is only like a 10th of my collection of hats.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not including this one. So I will wear your hats for you. It's
okay. Thank you. Yes, I'm just not a hat person. Like Ryan gave me one of his hats, and like I tried it on. I just don't like them. So we'll make you the hats too. Yes, I do. That's true. I make the hats. I don't wear them, but I make them.
I'm excited for the beanie.
Yes,
I'm a beanie person.
Hopefully before. I will have it out before Sunday. That is my goal.
Perfect, because it's starting to warm up, and I'm like, I'm running out of time to wear the beanies.
So sorry.
Nah, you're fine.
I learned my lesson about how many pre-orders I should do. It's like, because Gina posted that picture, and I was like, oh crap! So,
oh no, Gina, what have you done?
I know. I mean, I love that she did that because I sold a few other things from my shop as well. So you do. I mean, I'm not complaining. I was just like, oh my god. So, anyways.
I meant to actually, like, I can't find anywhere. It's probably in one of my other boxes. A friend of mine actually does. I always get them mixed up. She's Sarah. If you ever see this video, I'm sorry. I think she crocheted me a beanie. I forget
Nice.
if it's crochet or knitting, and I still have it to this day. I think she used
Nice.
alpaca
Oh, nice.
for
That's
it. So
nice yarn.
because of one of her, she's from Minnesota, and one of her neighbors has like an alpaca farm, and so she just
Nice. That's
gets the
awesome.
alpaca. So
Awesome. Yeah,
I know I know this much about that community. Sorry.
It's funny. No, you're fine. You're fine. The only reason I know how to knit is because my mom learned in Sweden when she was an exchange student. So she taught me when I was little. So I've been knitting since I was 9. So that's why I know. So anyways, so yeah, it boggles my mind that these activists, they're like, Tolkien totally would have been woke, and I'm like, have you read the story of Aragorn and Arwen? Like, do you know? Like, no.
I just got done. Just today? I just got done reading for the second time the story of Berian and Luthien. Like, I've read it twice now because it's so beautiful.
I know.
I
know.
Sorry.
You're good.
Like, no, this man was not homo. He was not in any way, shape, form, or fashion homo.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, because like Beren and Luthien being on their headstones means absolutely nothing. Idiots.
Like he literally,
Yeah.
and his, anti wokeness, whatever, literally made a story about his love story with his wife. Like the story of Berian and Luthien is like it's a parallel between his life, because literally what happened is he fell in love with who would become his wife when they were children, and her father was like, no.
Yes. You have to earn her.
Yeah, you have to earn her.
Yeah.
And then he went off to war.
Yeah, exactly. And then he, like, when he he had the apartment below her, so he would sit on the window and like talk with her like up through the window. I'm just like, oh, their love story.
So cute.
It's so adorable.
It is. And just like the letter, like some of the letters, I'm just like, so
I
cute.
know. And then she would dance for him. I'm just like, yeah, we definitely need to have like a whole conversation about like femininity and masculinity in the Lord of the Rings, because that will make the trolls even madder.
Yes. I mean, there are people who are like, let's make this character, black, gay, whatever, just to mess with you guys. Well, excuse me, good sir, two can play to this game.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So no, I love their love story. And again, them deconstructing, because I watched, I don't know, do you watch any you had posted in the Discord the Fellowship of the Nerds?
Yes, I forget that specific
They're
YouTube.
A big
so
channel.
I do. They are. The one actually before any of this craziness, I watched the Nerd of the Rings. Like his channel has always been just a plethora of information as far as Lord of the Rings. And most of the other channels I've only recently kind of found, like because I've just mostly been watching his channel.
Yeah. But or was it Fellowship of the Birds or Ring of the, it was the one with the blue, whatever. Max sent it to me today, and he basically broke down the second Vanity Fair article that came out, and like it's interesting, like, and I get wanting to be excited for something. I get wanting to not want to hate on something. I get that, and I it sucks that I feel like I'm on Gary. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. I'm over this. I'm moving on. And I get that he wants to be excited, and I don't blame him that. I don't fault him wanting to be excited about something, but he's like, Galadriel is my favorite character, and he said without saying, I'm really worried about this, the way that they're describing her, and the fact that they're giving her a sword. He's like, I'm really worried about that, and you can tell he's trying to be an apologist, going back to that word, for what they're doing. But I was texting Max, and I was like, here's my issue with this, like, wait and see. I want to judge the show for, when it comes out. I get that. But like, if they do completely trample Tolkien's legacy, it's like people like that, are you going to come out and say, hey, not okay? Or are you going to be like, well, it's okay that they trampled his legacy because we got Galadriel? Like, that's what, it's just, it's like, because he's got such a big audience.
I think from what I've seen of his previous content, it's very logical, knows his stuff. I think that the quote-unquote scales will fall from his eyes on that first episode. I hope so. I really do. Someone that intelligent, like, unless you're deliberately trying to ignore it because you just want content, like, I think that's a big problem. People just want content. They don't want they don't want substance. They just want content. Like, just throw the things at me. I don't care if it's purple covered poopy. I want content. Yeah.
Yep.
So I couldn't think of anything.
No, you're good. It's relevant.
It's just, it's so, I really hope.
Because he brought up like such deep lore things. I'm like, whoa, wow. That's years of study to understand the level to where he's at. Like, that is someone I would happily give like a scholar to, because he knows what he's talking about. And it is. And like, and he, like, when he said, I'm really worried about what they're using, they keep using the term seductive for Sauron, he just like sighed and he's like, that's a whole other video. And I can tell that he's really worried and pissed that they are playing on that word, because like I said last night, I'm not going to be surprised if there is a lot of LBGT, all the things in there. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked at all, because seduce has a lot of implications behind it. And
nowadays it does.
Yeah, now it does. So I don't know. Well, I hope you're right. I hope the scales do fall, because his opinion will sway a lot of others.
Absolutely. And it's just like you said, the depth of knowledge he has. It's astounding. It is astounding. Like some of the things he was able to figure out just from looking at a picture. Oh, that's such and such place. Oh, that's probably this thing. I'm just like,
that's that person who was mentioned on page blah blah of the Silmarillion one time.
I'm trying to YouTube has this thing where I'm scared to like say anything like remotely weird on YouTube, because I just so I just like think of PG words on the fly when I'm angry. Poopy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do hope, because he was voicing all the same concerns that so many of others have voiced. And it's, to me, it was almost, because I was talking to Max about this, it's almost like, because I follow a couple of Disney vloggers, and they're specifically Star Wars vloggers. Like, they specifically go to Disneyland to go to Batuu. That's fine. They love it. I don't care. I'm happy they're happy. But this one girl, she always is like, there's so much Life Day stuff. And, Jay is like, this Chewbacca Life Day. And she's like, there's so much left. You can come get it and add it to your collection. And I'm like, honey, the reason there's a lot of stuff there is because people don't want to buy it. She just refuses to see that, like, no, honey, that's garbage. People don't buy garbage. So it's like, that's what I hope that they don't, like, they choose not to see something.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and Gary also like puts it best, like, it's an addiction.
It is an addiction, yeah.
When you have an addiction, like, to kind of, I guess, put it to where I think Gary, people who know Gary like would understand, like, it's getting the high end cocaine versus the crap cocaine, like that one costs a little bit more, one's a little bit less, but if you're addicted, you don't really care. You're like, I just need the stuff.
Exactly.
I really hope that's not the case.
I know. Well, in any case, I don't know. We will see, but regardless of what happens, I'm excited about us, reading the lore and going through the books together and having this journey. Because like I talked about on my Instagram, I have been meaning to do this since I was 15, and I'm always like, oh, shiny, there's a book. Oh, there's a book. There's another book. I got like 3 new books on my Audible. I found, okay, I have to tell you this, and you have to keep me accountable that I don't start them. But they're a retelling of Jane Austen, but it's set in a fantasy setting, and all the men are dragon riders.
Oh my!
I'm like, I want to start
Silmarillion. Silmarillion.
No, I need to start the Silmarillion.
I'm already like.
I know. I need to get caught up too, so that we can talk about it next week. I'll just put the Two Towers on pause because whatever, it doesn't matter. So
I will hold off then, because I'm on chapter a little bit past. The way they have these chaptered, like I'm on technically chapter 20, but it's the chapter starts out about Barian and Luthien and how like the ending of their story. I'm like, that needs to go on there's room on this page for that whole paragraph. Like it's supposed to go there.
That's funny. So yeah, I will get.
I don't think the commands work on StreamYards, Nick, but I appreciate it. Yeah. So what Nick is talking about is my YouTube / Twitch channel is quote unquote sponsored by Geek Grind Coffee.
Nice.
This is their Elven.
Awesome.
Like the design that they put into their like coffee blends.
Yes.
It's really nice. This is their Elven Enlightenment blend.
Yeah, I actually told them because I saw that blend. I was like, because I don't drink coffee. I'm strictly a tea drinker. My precious tool.
They have tea as well.
No, I know, but I told them okay. Yes, I have an addiction to books. I'm not going to deny that. I told them that we need a Rivendell blend of a tea, and they gave me like a fire and a winky face, and I was like, oh, does that mean you'll do it? I will buy that. So hopefully they do that, because I would love to like, I need to get some of just their tea, but I was like, we need a Rivendell specific tea.
Well, I mean, like the reason why, like, I kind of, because I actually just got done with this blend yesterday, or technically the remnants of it are in my cup right now. I know it's really late, but I'm still gonna drink some anyway. Because I do what I want, folks. But yeah, like I feel like, and this is the artwork that they put into their coffee is better than the freaking artwork that they put in their freaking posters at Amazon. Like, oh my god, that would have been perfect for the elves, you know? Like, it didn't even have to.
And like, there's also this new fairy book. It's like again, there's this current obsession with the fairy court, and I'm just like, where did this come from? Why are you all writing about the fairy court? It's so weird. The artwork for it is atrocious. It's shockingly bad. And everyone's like, I'm so obsessed with this cover. And I'm like, why? Please explain. Do you not know what artwork is?
I think and this is something that I've noticed in like the, I guess, comic book / TV show world is, I feel like for the last like 5 to 10 years, animation style, which also translates to comic book art, has declined. Like, it used to be so realistic and lifelike, and it was so it was pretty to see, and now it's just kind of like Rick and Morty. Yep. Oh, look, more Rick and Morty looking things. Oh, look, more Rick and Morty looking thing. Like, yeah, come on.
Well, and I just like, I mean, I will always, I love watercolors. It's my favorite. I can't draw. My mom's an artist. I'm a writer. I can draw a stick figure. Like, I can't draw, but I happily support artists. And there's this artist. She's in Canada.
Oh, my friend Randy. Where'd you go, Randy? Randy is actually an artist.
She is gorgeous. She's so beautiful. But
Randy, you need to make an appearance in the chat.
Yes. Her name's Lily, and she paints in the exact same style as Alan Lee. Like, that is how this entire room, I kid you not, is covered in her artwork. And I have an original painting of her of Bag End. So I have it is the only one she did, and it's Bag End. And I'm actually going to change my background. I've decided I don't want my Star Wars stuff up here anymore. I'm going to do all of my Middle Earth art. So I'm going to change around my
Ooh.
display, and also I can't stand the glare. But so hopefully the next time you see this, it'll all be my Middle Earth art and it'll all be her art. So, but yeah, it's just shocking to me that like that's what's acceptable on a book cover nowadays. That's sad.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull up. This is just. I'm doing a selfless plug for my friend Randy because she doesn't.
No, do it. She's
she
incredible.
doesn't give herself enough credit. And if you're not here, Randy, I called you out. Let me do this because she also is very shy. This is my friend Randy's art.
Yeah, she's
this
great.
Is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Go support her.
Do it. Randy Jane _art Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel. I can't find. Randy, you need to send me the link personally. I can't find it for some reason. But yes, go follow my friend Randy.
Most definitely.
Like there are too many people out there who are just as talented as she is, but they can't get any work because too many people want this stupid piece of crap.
Hold on, let me
there's still artists still out there. There are still beautiful works that are being made and stuff, and why do we have to keep getting this crap?
I know. I'm gonna share this. This is my friend. So I'm gonna do a shameless plug. She's not even here. I'll have to tell her later that I did this. This is my friend Madison. And okay. So this is her art. So these are her sketches.
Ooh.
Yeah. She's just incredible. So she does oils, she does pencil sketches. Let me show her prints. I've got her Doctor Strange print, and I've got a couple of her Cara Dune prints, but just like her stuff is just like unbelievably
amazing.
Good. She's so good. So yeah, Madison is another, and she's a writer too. Like she's writing stuff. So I'm really proud of her. So like I love that she does this. But yeah, I mean so what she does is she gets private commissions from people where she lives, and I think that's awesome. Like she'll paint nurseries and stuff. It's just amazing. But yeah, I'm just like, if I ever wrote a book, I'm like, that's the style I want. That's just this beautiful, soft, none of this crap that I can see in a Barnes & Noble. So, anyways, we got way sidetracked.
We did. Oh, A2, you're the best as ever. She found my friend Randy's YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Yes, please do the thing.
Do all
A2,
things.
you're amazing. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you. I love you. Trying to think of what else, because we're about 15 or so minutes away from 20 minutes away from the 2-hour mark.
Yes.
I want to at least get to 2-hour mark.
Well, why don't I would be interested, like, okay, so I'm gonna get caught up on the Silmarillion, because we kind of like this was kind of a little bit of a slapdash thing that we did. We were like, hi, this is Mando, this is Alasia, you guys need to just talk. Here, go talk. So this was very like sudden that we decided to do this. So so Mando's in the Silmarillion, I'm in the Two Towers, but I'm gonna pause that because I need to go back to Silmarillion. But like, are there topics that you guys would like to hear from us as we go? Because our goal is, hopefully, fingers crossed, to read all 13 histories of Middle Earth. Yes, the whole of Middle Earth. We're gonna do it all.
I bet you none of these guys knew that there are 13. Repeat, 13 books on the history
Yes.
of Middle Earth.
Thank you. Yes, we're going to try to do all of it before September, or even if like we go into September, just so we have a firm foundation to stand on and like to battle idiots. So yeah, that like what topics would you guys like to see? I know who mine is, but I would like, yeah.
So to answer Rhodes' question, favorite character. You go first, because mine is tied usually between a couple, and I'm trying to think.
Well, mine is Elrond. For a lot of reasons. I just love that he he could have been High King and he chose to be a librarian. I'm just like, that's just like the greatest thing ever. But you know, he quietly pushed people to do their best. I don't know, there's a lot there, but the man went through hell and back. Him and I believe it was Kirion the Shipbuilder were the only two standing by Gil-galad when Sauron grabbed him by the neck and he went off in a burst of flames. Elrond was the only one standing there with his friend, his commander, his liege lord. He was the only one. And then when Celebrimbor died, literally Sauron went up to Elrond and waved his dead body that was hanging off of a spear right in front of Elrond's face. The man's been through hell and he never gave up. I'm just like, he could have left for the Grey Havens a long time ago and he didn't. He stayed the course and he stayed to protect Middle-earth. I'm sorry, but that is a very strong man. Like, so I love Elrond.
Absolutely.
Elrond is my favorite.
I was going to say it's between him and Aragorn.
Awesome.
Because like I love Aragorn's story about like, you know, when he's like, okay, it's time for me to be king. Like, yes. Okay, I got to do the thing. It's time to king. Yeah. But the whole time he's just like, you know, I'm not gonna do anything until it's time. He doesn't try and like rush it.
He's just the issue.
And you know, he was fine being a ranger of the Dune. Like he was fine being just a Dune. Like he's just fine just doing his thing. He's like, and then like his friendship with Gandalf's like, man, I need you to do something. He's like, bet.
I got you,
fam. He literally for like ever just ran around looking for.
I feel so sorry for him.
It's just like, you mean they've been here the whole time? But
great, thanks. You're reading them too.
But I like A2's idea.
I mean, this one
definitely. Well, I mean, yes and no, but definitely. Yeah. The Silmarillion, like if you just try and read it on your own, like if you try and read big chunks, you're just like,
yeah.
Oh my God, where am I? Oh, people are dying. Oh, where? How? When did we? Whose name changed? Why'd your name change? That's one of the things. Like y'all don't realize these people in Tolkien's book have like 4 names.
Yeah. Gil-galad's name. That's not his original name. I don't know what his original name is, but that was not his original. And neither was Galadriel.
I don't remember.
I think. Didn't Celeborn give Galadriel that name because it means golden crown, or the way she wore her hair?
Yes.
So Celeborn literally named his wife.
You are correct.
Yes.
I'm not even going to try and look it up because I'm going to be just sitting here and be like, no, wrong name.
I know.
No, that was her second name.
Doesn't help any at all.
It doesn't. Like, y'all have no idea the names of these people. Like, Thingol, like, that's a name that some people might recognize. No. That's the second Thingol. There was a first Thingol in the first era who also had other names.
Yes.
Y'all don't even know.
It's hard. You know what? And I think, I think I need to get, before I get any more of the histories, I'm gonna get the index, the official Tolkien index, the one he put together, because I think that'll be helpful. I think I'm gonna need to get that one because that'll help keep things straight. So yeah, I think that'll be my next investment is the Tolkien index.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool. Like, yeah, I think maybe like what you and I could be doing is like as we're reading along, we just kind of and you guys like are.
My brain hurts. Yes. Welcome to our world. And we're doing this so that you guys don't have to.
Yes. I want to rename my future wife. Do it.
You are now bloody blah. That's what I'm telling you. And it's sticking.
It's done. But if you guys want to, I highly recommend it because books always get books and read books. I got this for like $8 at Barnes Noble. It's not doing the thing. Like $8, y'all can follow along with us. Like we can kind of do like this. Also combine it to be kind of like a reading thingamabob because I think Miss Marsha Muse is doing that right on her channel.
Yeah. So every Saturday morning, I have literally not caught a single stream because the mornings in my house, the way our lives are set up, are kind of chaotic, and I just can't sit and listen to one of her streams. But yes, I think they're finishing up Return of the King, and
I
I
think
don't know
so.
if they've done the Silmarillion or that's next. But yeah, Miss Martin Muse is doing that as well. But it doesn't hurt to have like multiple people going, because everyone's going to bring a different thing to the table based off of just who they are as a person.
Yes, like the story, like like I was just talking because I was reading, like the story of Baron Luthien. I didn't know that he was renamed because he lost his hand.
See, I didn't know that.
His hand literally got eaten. He's like, you know what? They're just gonna call me Stumpy now. That's literally what it is. Like they renamed him like one who lost his.
Oh my god.
It's like, okay, so I've lost my leg. Now I shall be known as Stumpy, and that is my official name now. Who does that?
Yeah, no. Behave, Road.
Like, honey, you're beautiful, but your name doesn't work for you. Your new name is beautiful.
There you go.
Lady Oh god. This is amazing. This is amazing. Yeah, first we're gonna be doing Silmarillion, because why not? Because first.
Yeah. And like
why not?
And let me throw this out there, and you know what? I'll put them in chat. So hold on. You talk. I can't. My brain shorts out when I try to talk and type at the same time.
So kind of like, I guess, for those of you who might not know what the Silmarillion is, because some people are like, I've heard this book, I've heard the name, I know it's about the First and Second Age, roughly, blah, blah, blah. So the book is based off of, for any of you who are familiar with the Hobbit movies, that big shiny rock called the Silmaril. This entire book, even though it's named the Silmarils, is actually not all about the Silmarils. It's really weird. But they actually they play a big part in the history, but the book isn't actually about the Silmarils. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Yes, secondhand book website. So the Silmarils, for the history of those of you who don't know, I butcher your name, so I'm not even gonna try.
Sorry, I hit my desk.
Dang it, desk. Amanda, did you purposely dress like Lady Kruger? No, this is my sweater. It's supposed to make me look smart, including the pipe. But yes, now I can't unsee it. Dang it, I'll never wear this sweater again.
Just real quickly, the second thrift book, that one, so they have a rewards program. So every $1 you spend, you get a point, and every 100 points, you get a free book. And their shipping is $1.50. And they have very good prices on books, and they have a ton of Tolkien stuff. I've gotten most of my Tolkien stuff off the thrift books. So of the two, the thrift books is what I would suggest. So, anyways, yes, do it.
So basically, because I'm gonna butcher all of these names, and Elijah, you can chime in and say who the names are. But this elf dude, who's a really master craftsman, saw Galadriel. Was like, hey, I like you.
Yes.
Celebrimbor. And he's like, you know what? Can I like touch your hair? Can I like play with her hair? And she's like, heck no. And so he made these jewels in honor of her hair. And apparently they were so beautiful. I am butchering the summary, by the way. They were so beautiful that he's like, these are going to be the heirlooms of my family, blah, blah. But also at the same time, he hated the Valar because Melkor had lied to him and was like, hey, these dudes are bad. And he's like, well, I don't believe you, but I don't believe them either. And so I hate both of you. And then when Melkor destroyed the trees, which... read the book and find out what the trees are. When they destroyed the trees, Melkor, Morgoth, the main baddie, Saruman. God, it's Sauron and Saruman. God, Sauron's master Melkor stole the Silmarils and also killed dude's dad.
Yeah.
So dude's like, how dare you? And he goes after him. And then he makes this weird oath that him and his ancestors, which are most of the Noldorian elves, are like, we're going to get the Silmarils back. We're the only people who can get the Silmarils back. Anyone else who touches the Silmarils was basically cursed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the majority of like that story.
But let me point something out that you said. So Celebrimborn asks to play with Galadriel's hair, which is weird. And she was married at this point. He did not like Celeborn. He's like, I want to marry you. She's like, fuck off. I have a husband whom I love, even though he's incredibly of lower status than I am. He's basically the stable boy.
Yeah, and she's like half god.
She's half god.
She's half god.
She is. And she married the stable boy. That's how important Celeborn is. Amazon, where is he? Anyways, so he says, can I play with your hair? And she says, no. In the trailer, you have a human touching her hair.
Yeah.
That is not.
Yeah,
and see, this is why her giving Gimli, that's why Gimli getting that hair is so important, because Celeborn is like, what did you just say? And all her ladies like drop the stuff they're holding and they're like, oh my god, this guy just asked for her hair. Like, that is such an important moment. And in the trailer, you have a human ripping her hair up. Like, dude, we know she's touching it.
Yeah. Like, they're trying to play off of this stupid thing where elves and humans and dwarves don't like each other. That wasn't a thing until like the Third Age.
Yep.
Like like everyone liked each other except for some of the Noldor elves, because they were kind of stupid and they like let greed and stuff kind of take over, and they killed some people, called the kinslaying. But yeah.
The burning of the
like the Silmarils, like, the reason why Galadriel's hair, like, partly, like, was so beautiful is because it caught literally the light from the trees that caused the world to have light at that time. There wasn't sun and moon. It was two trees.
Yes.
And her hair got the light and, like, trapped it into her hair. Yeah. And so when Morgoth destroyed the trees, her hair basically, and the Silmarils are the only recollection that the world has of the trees, of the Valinor, of the First Age, all this stuff.
This is why gatekeeping is important, and this is why we're doing this, because clearly the OneRing.net and Amazon don't give a damn and don't understand any of this.
Like, so that's, you don't just touch her hair. You don't just go, ooh, it's pretty, and yank it. It's like, no.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. You don't touch her hair. And that, again, this is why Gimli asking for her hair and her giving it to him is so important. Like, to a normie, it's like, why did he ask for her hair? No, this is a big deal. And that's why, and like, I love that. I love Celeborn. I hope he doesn't like take over my favorite place of Elrond, but like, he's like sitting there and he's like, what? He's like,
but I mean, he's not, he doesn't.
Celeborn was stunned.
Well, also, it was one of those things because, like, he's seen what Galadriel's capable of.
I know. He's like, I sleep next to this woman.
And and the last person who asked for that thing, basically, like, Galadriel's like, F off, mofo.
Yes. She's like, no.
And the dude's her uncle. The dude who asked was family.
Which makes that all the weirder.
Would also be, the reason for the fall of all of the Noldorian elves, who all met very horrific fates besides Galadriel, and very, very select few of those races. For those of you who didn't know, there's like not just one or two races of elves. There's like 5 to 10, depending on which era you're in. Lots of races of elves.
And if you need
who all basically die.
Point, if you need a reference point, so like, the made-up Tauriel, she's a Sylvan elf, which is like the lowest tier. And like Haldir, who we meet in the Fellowship, he's a Sylvan elf. Because if you hear him say, he's like, he didn't want to leave Lorien, he didn't want to leave Middle-earth, because he loved the melon trees so much that Galadriel was creating. And he like literally says, I'm scared to go to the Undying Lands because I don't know if they have trees. And I'm like, that's such an endearing thing. He does not die in the books. He and his brothers get on the boats and they're fine. Just gonna throw that out there. hate that part. It's never not painful to watch Haldir die. So, anyways. So yeah, wow, we went down a rabbit hole, but like, yeah, like.
Well, I mean, because like
it's so complex.
Tolkien. I don't know why would he name a book based on like like the Silmarils? Yes, play an important thing, but like
they're not the whole.
They're not
point.
really talked about.
But I mean, and in case you guys didn't know this, he was writing the Silmarillion while he was in the trenches. That came out of the trenches.
Like someone misquoted or missaid. They're like, yeah, his first book was actually The Hobbit. I'm like, it's first published. Published.
It's
like no, he was working on this before, during, and even after the Lord of the Rings came out. Like this used to be a living document, pun intended. He did change things, and one of the things that got me so angry with that stupid scholar dude, he's like, yes, Tolkien contradicted himself. He changed the origin stories of the dwarves, and he changed this and that. I'm like, yes, he did. Before it was made officially canon, he changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You can do that before you make something final.
Yes. And I'm like, have you not heard of revisions? It's called revisions. That's called editing your work. That's called replotting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, apparently he's never read a book before in his life.
I know, and he was using it as an excuse for why Amazon can change whatever the heck they want. Because, well, Tolkien also changed the things. I'm like, but now there is established canon. There is official established canon. Everything else were ideas. Everything else was, well, he got the idea for this from this, but he went with this idea. This is what you do with a book. When you write a book, you have an idea, and then as you like continue to write the book, you're like, maybe that's not a great idea. I'm gonna change some things here and there. But the things that you change, like it's not considered. It's just canon fodder now.
Yes.
It's not. It's important, yes, but not. Important at the same time.
Yeah. So anyways, good. I'm glad, Road.
So I feel like we've just like vomited so much information that
so much we word vomited a whole lot. So yeah, but going back to what I was originally said, you guys telling us if there are like specific topics or themes or tropes or whatever that you'd like us to like talk about as we're reading stuff, that would be really helpful. So that if we're drawing a blank one week, that we have something to kind of fall back on, because we also we want you guys to be engaged. We want to hear from you guys, and if there's stuff that you want to learn from the books that maybe we can bring to the table, that would be awesome. So yeah.
But yeah, also recommended, like, as we're doing the Silmarillion and stuff, like reading alongs. That way, if you have questions, like we can look at it, and like sometimes I've read something in the Silmarillion, and then somebody will tell me something about the thing I just read, and I'm like, I don't remember reading that, and I go back and I read it. I'm like, no, it's there.
Yeah. My brain doesn't absorb that part.
I'm just like, I feel dumb. I literally just read this passage and I don't remember a single thing I just read. It's great.
Yeah, I know. And I read the Silmarillion in high school, which was not the smartest idea I had in the whole wide world. And I did not retain a single word. I don't remember a thing. Like nothing. Yeah. So. Anyways, well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
This is awesome.
We're almost at that 2-hour mark too. Yay. But also I think like just with kind of what, like, you know, kind of from the vibe that we're getting from chat is like a lot of this is stuff that you guys didn't know, like, which is really cool, because like this is stuff like I feel like I've kind of known about for a while now. And so it's also weird to like stuff that I feel like is common knowledge wasn't common, like the knowledge that Tolkien wrote the Oxford Dictionary.
Right.
I thought people knew that. It's like, no, they didn't know that. Like,
yeah, that's how much like an impact he's had on the world.
He's still making an impact today, and he's been, you know, gone for years and years and years. Like,
yes, and we don't need to deconstruct him.
We can't just treat him like he's just some other And not to discredit like authors, they're
Mhm.
important, blah blah, but he's not just some author who wrote a fun little story with little cute elves and stuff. Like
Yeah,
this is meant to be like it's meant to be a work of art.
it
And
is.
like
Yes.
this comparison has been made, and I actually made this comparison like personally, like, and then somebody else made the same comparison. I'm like, it's like the Mona Lisa. Like you wouldn't take down the Mona Lisa,
Mm-mm.
color it with crayon, put it back up, and say, I made it better.
Yeah. No, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Yeah. And I definitely think next time we should maybe, like, as we're talking about the Silmarillion, like the first half of the Silmarillion and stuff, we need to address this whole like other hands, other minds issue that he wrote in that letter, and like what that professor I wanted to punch my TV. I wanted to hurt something. I was so mad. It's like, what did you just say? What? You want to say that again? We need to talk about that next time.
Well, it's people who trying to think of the proper term for this. People who've been in the library for a little too long.
Yes.
Little too long need to go out and actually take a second and realize I need to stop sniffing my own farts. They're not that great.
Yeah.
They're not that great.
Really not that great.
The pipe tobacco smoke is a little stale now.
It's a little thick. Yeah, and you are yes, exactly, John. Yes, agreed. Couldn't agree more. So yeah, so we definitely, I think, need to talk about that next time. Because that's like, oh god, that was so frustrating to hear. So anyways, topic for next time.
Yes. But yeah, like I mean, I can speak for myself for sure. Like my DMs are pretty much open. Will I always respond immediately? Sorry, probably not. Any subject topics, anything like,
Yes,
do you want us to do like a section on like, did you know?
Yes, exactly.
Just let us know, like.
And if I ever leave you unread, please don't be offended. I take care of an Alzheimer's patient, so sometimes I can't respond immediately. So me leaving you unread, please don't think I'm being rude, and I'm not ignoring you. It's just I can't get it to it at that point in time, because I do that so often and I hate that. But yeah, my DMs are always open. Shoot me a DM. Not on Twitter. I do not check my DMs at all on Twitter. Do it on Instagram, please. So yes, if there's any topics you guys want to talk about, let me know.
And I mean, if you like see something on Twitter and you want to tag either one of us in it, and we can do an epic Twitter rant again.
Exactly.
The Twitter rant of the century.
Yes.
Oh god.
It's your turn to get blocked next.
I'm surprised that I haven't gotten blocked from somebody. Like I got my very first block from a rando person like a couple months ago. I even made a little my channel is under attack video about it.
That's so funny. I've been blocked by several of these other like fan sites that have popped up in like the past year. I've pissed off several of them, so I'm like, I'm on a roll.
Maybe I shouldn't piss them off, so that way, like when we have someone, we can like bring up the articles and like bring up their Twitter.
That's true.
I'll just like quietly watch from the shadows, judging them.
There you go. And I also need to make a burner account so that I can see things. That would probably be helpful.
I remember having to use stamps and wait days or weeks for a response. A2 has seen my channel is under attack.
I will have to go look at this.
Yeah, like when I was in college, there was a drama department and I was in it. So
nice.
I brought out some of my dramatic flair.
It's funny.
Oh gosh! All right, well, we're a little bit past the 2-hour mark.
We did it! Hooray! Yes. Thank you guys for being here. Like
yes, you guys are
this
awesome.
Was like a spur of the moment. Let's just do it. Let's just jump in the deep end and see what happens. And so I was very nervous, but thank you guys for being here. This has been awesome.
Yeah. I'm used to a different type of live streams than this, so it's been interesting for me as well. I'm usually have a controller or a mousey and keyboard. but very refreshing. I haven't had
Yes.
to use my brain in a long time for
No, same
literary things.
Same here.
See, we don't need the higher education system. We've got each other in books.
Yes, that's literally all we need. That's literally all we need.
All of the books. More
All the
books is
books.
always better.
Yes.
Even if you run out of room and space.
Yeah, we need to get threatened.
See, you just need to get a bigger house.
Well, there's that. Yeah. Well, we're good. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yes. All right. Make sure I remember where the button is. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
So we will see you,
Thank you guys so much.
We will see. I will announce when the next one's going to be, and it's going to be on my channel. So we will see you over at A Troubled Green.
Yes. Do it. Like, subscribe, follow, do the things.
Put those notifications on.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys. Bye.